So as always, the plan is to review what's up this week. So what has happened and what is to do this week. And then a quick review of what's going to happen next, because this is the last week of the theory training. And then Dr. B and her team have a little sort of surprise for this transition period between the theory and practice phase. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And if there are any questions, we will provide the answers. And so I can give a quick overview of where the program stands in general at this time. So for the university track, we have close to 2,000 students in the early track, and they are right in the middle of the program. So they already went through the meet and greet phase, they selected the companies, and they submitted the report section 1. And so that's right in the middle for them. So it's been 4 weeks, I believe, and they have 4 weeks more to go before the early track is over. For the late track, we expect about 4,000 students, and so they will be joining us, or they will be placed on teams on October the 5th. As of now, we have received names of almost, not all, but most of them. And so they already got their welcome letters, and at this time are working on the readiness test. Those who are not university students who are here in the webinar, it's a little bit different with the university students. For them, it is part of the course. So they don't have to do 4 weeks of the theory training. They instead take a whole university course at their respective schools. But we still do test them whether or not they're ready to be placed on the teams. So they have one big, like really big, about 100 questions test that they have to complete. And even though their professors tell us, oh yes, they all speak English, they all know international business, we test for that. And so quite a few of them already in the late track have already passed the test. There will be, they have a few more weeks to finalize the test, those who haven't done it yet, but they will be placed on teams on October the 5th, together with the non-university students, with the academy track students. For the academy track students, this is pretty much it with the theory training. So we have 2 more days, today and tomorrow, to complete the last and final test. And on Monday, we will download the data, and we will be making the final decisions as to who advances to the practical training phase, who will be placed on international teams, and who will not be. So you by now should have received your tests every week. I send you the results of your previous tests. There was one little hiccup with, I believe, 4 youngest participants with test number 2. So the formula that we used to calculate the total, we forgot to include the point that there are fewer questions on the test for the youngest participants, or rather there are more and more questions the older the participants are. It's a different sort of, we stratify you by age. And so for the very youngest ones, the formula was a little bit messed up. And so some of them saw lower grades than they actually received. And so I sent a correction note to them. So hopefully everything's fine now. So there were several students who did pass the test. It just, the calculation was wrong. So, but all in all, so we have quite a few hundreds of people who are doing well and completed all tests. We have some people who have taken all 3 so far tests, but perhaps the grade was not as high as we wish on 1 or even sometimes 2 of the tests. And so they were given a chance to retake them. We are watching and making sure that everybody passes the test. And then as always, we have a few who haven't even tried to take tests. And I don't know why that happens every time. Maybe people have big plans. They thought it would be a good idea to, you know, to enroll in this program, to complete it, to have it on the resume. But then when the time comes to actually do the job, I don't know, get busy, or maybe, you know, don't have the necessary motivation. So what I'm trying to say here is that there will be some people who will have to drop. So there will be some people who will not pass the final hurdle and will not be placed on teams. If one of them will be you, no worries, you can always try the next semester, so not a big deal. So, but hopefully, I assume here we have the most motivated people, and I hope all of you will have no problems passing the test. So this is a quick update, and yes, the final test is due tomorrow, Sunday. We will download the data on Monday, and then we will try to have the results ready for you, if not Monday, then Tuesday. And so there will be sort of several groups of people. So some of you have already done well, and you will get a letter saying congratulations, you have passed your test. You have now, it will be a little bit less than 2 weeks to take care of all of the registration payments and whatever else needs to be done, paperwork. and basically wait until October the 5th to be placed on teams. There will be probably a few people who will be sort of on the border there with pass, not pass. Maybe did well on 3 tests, but not so well on 1. And so there will be probably a few where we will say, well, it seems like you're almost ready, but we are not sure. Can you please retake 1 test? So if you get a retake notice, just retake the test, and we want to make sure that you're sort of fully ready. And then obviously there will be some that we will know for sure they're not ready. So if they couldn't show good performance over these 4 weeks, they will get a letter saying that basically try to apply again next semester. That will probably happen on Tuesday, so it takes some time to prepare everything. So Tuesday, the latest Wednesday. And then those who will be ready to be placed on teams, yes, you just wait. But there are a couple of things that we will do during those 2 weeks kind of to continue your education and training. And Dr. B will talk more about that. So I'll pass the microphone.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later, but I want to keep you on this thread, right? So now that they've completed all 4 of their quizzes successfully, what shall they do in the 2-week interim regarding Academy?
Well, normally we don't do anything as far as I said, for the students, it may be a somewhat boring period because, one phase is done and the other hasn't started yet. So for us, for the administrators, it's usually a very busy time because during this time, as I said, we need to go through all of the records, make the final selections. There will be some people whom sort of, whom we will not be fully, sure about. And so there will be some invitations to retake the test. And then obviously payments. Again, I repeat that over and over again. Xculture is not some sort of like a rich, mega organization that has nothing else to do but to, give out money. No, unfortunately, we are a nonprofit and we do rely on the payments, on the registrations fees that the participants pay to cover our, basic expenses. In fact, most of what we do sort of for free for us. Like, for example, Dr. D or I here, we are not, paid. It's not part of our main job. This is something we do just because we like it. And so payments are important. And again, it does take some time to process them. The challenge is that some students come from countries perhaps where, I don't know, they don't use credit cards or maybe payments are not so easily made. And in many cases, it will be a lot of correspondence back and forth, making sure that, they can make the payment. Banking information, some things is missing. They need a special letter to, that they need to present to their central bank to allow the payment. So there will be a lot of those little cases that take our time. From the student's perspective, as I said, once they pass all 4 tests, there is really not much happening. They're just waiting to be placed on team. One thing they can do, and I encourage them to do it, is to start looking at the challenges presented by our companies. And maybe, on the one hand, start thinking which one or ones you would like to work on. You will have to make that final decision with the team, which company you will choose. But if you like a particular company, you can always try to convince your team that this is the one we should be working on. But also maybe even start sort of doing some research and preparing and, working on the challenge on your own before you are placed on the team. You will, once you're placed on the team, you will be given access to the, let me show you here. You will be given access to the new resource page, and that's the same one that the university students use. And so once you're there, well, I guess, it is password protected, so you will not be able to access it quite yet. So, but once you get your acceptance letter, you will have all that information. And so there you will see at this time, there are 12 companies. And I think I even posted those challenges on the Academy page so you can see which companies are participating in the early track. In the late track, we will add 2 more companies. So we have 2 more companies that will be added to the list. So you'll have a total of 14 to choose from. And yeah, so you can start reading what kind of help they want. You can start thinking about how you would answer those questions. So that would be probably the most productive use of your time during these 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. But other than that, there will be really nothing else happening. So there will be no additional instruction other than maybe some kind of fun and entertaining stuff that we'll provide to keep you sort of.
So is it difficult to get on that page? Because I haven't seen it myself. So if you
it's the same one that your students, yeah, let me show you here. So it's the same one that your students are using. But yeah, let me show you here. Again, it's a page that that is designed for the university students. And because the Academy is going together with university track and delay track. So, but yeah, that's the page. So here you will see the schedule of the webinars, and you already have access to that file. So the same thing that we always use for webinars. And I need to take a look and see if there are any webinars that already happened and are still on the list. So I need to put them to recordings. Then you have the schedule. So basically, again, you've seen that before, but you know, that's the schedule for the practical phase, from teams formed all the way to post-project survey and presentations. Then there are some instructions here for how the final team reports will be submitted. And so by that, I mean, when you will be fully done as a team, you will have your proposal, your ideas, your essentially your team report. And so we will be submitting that through Turnitin, and you have here the information that you need. And then you have the list of the companies here. So again, we've had webinars with most of them already. So I assume most of you have some idea about these companies like Abovo Chocolate, Koci Grifoni Wine, Dart Drones, the Drone Pilot School Network. Get Out, it's a event planning company, and so on and so on. So we have Mindelo, it's an app for basically, you know, those who attended webinar know what I'm talking about. Hiplantro, they make tea. Ski Big 3 Canada, it's a joint venture among several ski resorts in Canada. Truffle and Wine Company in Australia, Truffle and Wine. So, and so on and so on. Then CV help you with CVs. Then there are some training instructions for instructors, for university professors. You probably don't need it, but we included that here just in case students really want to go into more depth. We decided to give you that. And so I think this block here will be your sort of, you know, page or section that you can work with while you're waiting to be placed on teams. You literally go one by one, look at the challenges and see which company you may like or may, you know, help with you know, with work. So for example, Koci Grifoni, it's a company that produces wine. And so here you'll find company description, location, and you know, a little bit about the history of the company, and a little bit about you know, the methods of production they use. But then most importantly, you have the challenge. So the list of the questions that they need help with. And so all of the reports are sort of structured along 3 report sections. Usually all of them want you to do market research. And so by that, we mean you analyze that competition and the industry and try to think how your client compares to the competition. So what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, where the opportunities lie, and what kind of threats the company may be facing. In most of the cases, almost all companies, they want to expand their basically business. And in most cases, they want to expand in a new country, although some of them say it doesn't have to be a country, it can be just simply expansion of the business. So you would start thinking about possible new markets, in a sense, new countries where the product would be in demand, but also maybe new market segments. Maybe at this time, like for example, Ski Big 3, historically were catering to internet, or mostly to international visitors, because people were flying in from all around the world. But this time they are asking, you know, with the international travel being down and severely restricted, other ways for us to increase the number of visitors, maybe using the Canadian sort of market, but maybe attracting more different segments of the market. Not our typical, you know, 20, 30-year-old skier, but maybe older skiers, or maybe people who normally wouldn't go skiing. So market analysis, and so you analyze who would be a potential customer, what they are like, what kind of tastes they have, or maybe values they have, or preferences they have. So that's where you analyze that market. Then most companies, and I think actually all of them this time, they ask for help with marketing. Again, usually it's section number 2. For some challenges, it may be section number 3, but you need to think about marketing. And here you will have to think about how you would promote and advertise the product in the either country that you propose or to this new segment of the market, of the population that you propose. Again, everything from the promotion channels, how and where you would place the ad. Would it be on Facebook, on TV, in a newspaper, on billboards, or something else? Send a letter, or maybe send, you know, sales representatives. And again, it's very important for this step is that you don't only say, oh, advertise on Facebook. but that you explain how to do it so it works. What kind of ad would you place? What that ad might look like? How much will it cost? When do you place it? Always, or maybe only for a week, or maybe, during a specific time of the day. So you go into all of those details because it's a very, very important sort of, that's where the challenge is. And Dr. B and I, we know something about advertisement. So for some of our own ventures, we had to do some advertisement, including online. And it's not so easy. Sometimes you have an idea and you think it will work, you test it and it's not working. Sometimes you think, okay, we'll just advertise online, but then you start looking into it and turns out it's quite a, elaborate, multi-step process. Like not so long ago, we were trying to advertise on a new platform, Snapchat. And again, it seems like so simple, just go and advertise. No, it turns out, it takes quite some time to set up the account, to figure out what kind of ads they use, they allow, how much it costs, how do you select the audience. There are so many little decisions that all of a sudden, that simple step, advertise on Snapchat, turns out into like a 2-week, research project, just figuring out what they do. And even then we messed up because if you remember, Dr. B, so the idea was that we would use the same ads that we used on other platforms. Turns out the size of the ad on Snapchat is different. So they use square ads and most platforms use rectangular ads. And we didn't realize that. So we had those black sort of,
Yes.
stripes on the sides. And again, something that, you would have think that we would have predicted, and no, we missed that part. So often it is kind of a challenge. There was someone who raised his hand or her hand. I'm not sure, let me see. Yeah, okay. So, but anyway, promotion channels, then the message itself. So what will you say? What would be your sort of message? So again, advertise is an easy word, but what exactly do you say in that advertisement? And then better yet, some promotional materials. Again, if you say that it should be, let's say, ads on Facebook, maybe you will prepare some copies or examples of what that ad might look like. If you think that it should be TV advertisement, maybe you will write some script for the TV ad, or maybe even make like a simple fun video, as an example of what it might look like. Or if you believe that it should be maybe some sort of a personal letter sent by mail or by email to potential buyers. Again, what would be the text of that letter? What would you say? And so that's where you put all those details. It's a very, very good exercise for you. So, I mean, obviously companies want to get your input, but believe me, you will learn a lot as you're trying to develop this marketing strategy for the company. And believe me, once you get into those details, you will be like, whoa, I didn't realize I need to think about this. I didn't realize I need to think about that. I didn't realize it's so difficult, so hard. So that's a very good learning experience for you, because tomorrow you will be a manager of a company, or you will start your own company, your own business, or maybe you will work for someone, but still will be tasked with, selling more or, finding more customers. And you will have to do all of this. And so this is a very good exercise for you so that you know what to expect and how it works. And then the last section in most cases is sort of other questions or operations management. In this case, they wanted pricing and distribution, but again, it could be something else. So for example, the question may be, should we enter this new market alone or with some sort of a partner? Should we establish a wholly owned subsidiary in that country where it's our basically office and we run it? Or should it be maybe some sort of like a joint venture with a local company? Or maybe some sort of a partnership with a governmental agency? Or maybe, we do it through some sort of a distribution center. And so we have a partnership, a contract with a distributor or retailer. So, or maybe we do a franchising, network, build a franchisee network. Again, you would need to think about the best method of expansion for this company. And if you do recommend some sort of a partnership, in most cases, it's a very good idea to provide names of potential partners, maybe companies that want to be in that joint venture, or maybe distributors that might be interested in selling this product. And better yet, reach out to them and talk to them and ask, would you be willing to sell, for example, Coach Grifoni wine? Or would you be willing to have a joint venture with the Italian company Coach Grifoni, where maybe you will provide the distribution network, they will provide the product, and this way, you will have some sort of a partnership. Same thing with the logistics, shipping. What's the best way to ship the product? Are there any trade restrictions, other import tariffs or certification requirements, or anything else that the company needs to know before they can enter the market? And in this particular case, they also ask for the pricing strategy. both in terms of how much the product should cost, but also what should be the structure of that price. Would it be just simply the price you pay on the checkout, or would it be maybe some sort of a subscription model, or maybe some sort of a bulk pricing model, or maybe some sort of a repeat customer special pricing, or something else, you know, like membership plus price, or, you know, things like that. And so we gave you here some links to where you can find more information on how these things work, but ultimately it's your decision. Then the second part of the document will always be more technical. So the requirements for the document structure, you know, how many words, how many diagrams, how you cite your sources, what font, size of the font you should use, things like that. Then how do you submit your report? And then basically your schedule. So, you know, on October the 5th, we will form the team, and then we just basically go step by step. So establish contact and provide the report on that by September the 3rd, then meet your team members by September the 6th, then select the company by September the 13th, and so on and so on and so on, all the way until you submit the final report. And here you have the submission instructions at the end. So that's just to give you an example. And that was one of the companies. As I said, the challenges are kind of similar in intent. Each time it's a different product, different industry, a different country. But as far as what they want from you, what kind of help they seek, almost always it is essentially, we do well in one market, we want to expand. What would be your recommendations here as to where we expand to, and how we advertise a product there, how we succeed there? Although interestingly, almost all of them this semester do additionally ask to sort of keep in mind that the world is a little different because of COVID-19. And so the question is, how do we survive in this different new world? For example, the Ski Big Three in Canada, the ski resorts, they are under threat because of COVID-19. The travel is restricted. You know, all kinds of new regulations are in place, you know, face mask and whatever else. So they're asking what our industry is going to look like and how do we adapt to that. Get Out, the Singaporean company that organizes corporate events. Again, for them, it's completely different now. So they used to organize 2-3 events a week for different companies. And now all of a sudden, all public gatherings are banned. So they're trying to do it online. So again, they're completely changing their business model and the product, and so on and so forth. So most of these industries have been affected in one way or another by the COVID pandemic, by the restrictions on travel, restrictions on gatherings. And so in many cases, they do ask you, so what do you think this world will look like once this whole thing is over? Will it go back to what it used to be? Will it be different? And how do we adapt to this new reality? So again, a very interesting, you know, question to think about for you, but also the companies are interested in your ideas as well.
Mm-hmm. So thank you. I'm going to ask my coaches to review that just so that they can get another overview of what it's like for the students. And, you know, many of you guys who will continue with us as our cohort, you'll start to get to know our coaches. And just so that you know, I think all of our coaches have actually gone through the same project that you're going to be doing. And so
and some several times, some actually completed it several times.
Several times, right? And I know for me, I always enjoy receiving advice and suggestions from people who actually know what they're talking about because they've walked that journey. So, so Dr. Taras, Dr. Voss gave you guys a review of the project, but there are some things that you're going to encounter that you probably are not even thinking about right now. Okay, so you're muted.
Just a second. Can we also say a couple more words about coaching? Because again, sometimes students, university students, professionals, kids do not sort of fully understand who the coaches are and what they do. So
right.
we have a total of 52
they're coming,
total.
No, there's more. I think there's going to be about 20.
But there are 52 overall for the whole program. And then we have a smaller team specifically dedicated to the academy track. And then we have a bunch of them available to the university track, or some of the things they do that's for everybody. And so the coaches can help you with all kinds of things. One, and that's what I would use them all the time for. When you're working on your challenge and you have an idea it is always a good idea to get feedback on your idea. Sorry for saying that word so many times, but anyway, you can always send a draft of what you have to the coach or coaches, and they will provide feedback. They will say if it's good or if it's bad. In fact, this semester, they even do something very interesting. They review work from the last semester that was done at this same time, and they say, well, it will be some time before you have yours, but we suspect you will make the same mistakes that the students made last semester. So here is the review of the mistakes from the last semester. So this way you can learn from them even before you start your own work. But second, you can also ask for personal advice or problems when for help with problems if you have them in the team. Maybe, I don't know, hopefully nobody will have that, but maybe sometimes you will have some sort of a little tension in the team, or maybe you will have difficulties, I don't know, selecting a team leader if you want one, or maybe scheduling a team meeting. Or maybe, as I said, there is some little, conflict, or maybe somebody is not participating much. And so you can always ask a coach for help. So the coaches have all performance records. They have everybody's contacts. If needed, they can reach out to the other team members, ask questions, do some research, and, bring you together and help you with that. But even
they're all,
yeah.
they're coming in about, I have 2 here now, and they're coming in a few more minutes because I'd asked them to come to have a conversation about the things that we have planned for them for this semester.
Yeah, also importantly, most of the coaches of the 52, about 30 are former not only participants in X-Culture, but they are from the older track, the MBA students. So they basically would be in their kind of mid-late 20s and some even in the 30s. So those would be more mature. So they are more almost like teachers. But then we always experiment, and we always allow younger participants to be in the coaching program. So we have a few who are teenagers, so who have completed the X-Culture project as teenagers at the age of 15, 16, that now they may be 14, 15, 16, 17. I think the youngest one would be more like 15, 16, but we decided to try those as well, right?
Yeah, yeah. The exceptional kids,
yeah. Very, very smart. And we felt that it would be useful to have them on the coaching team, because maybe some of the questions that come from the youngest participants, they are best positioned to, the other younger coaches are best positioned to understand. So they're same age cohort, they went through this as a teenager, so they probably understand better what's going on. So you can always sort of, also ask or, interact with older coaches. And in fact, there are more of those. So probably most of the interactions you'll have, like webinars they organize, events they organize, help they provide, it will be usually an older, man or woman. But there will be some who are pretty young. And so if you're younger yourself, maybe you will be more comfortable working with them.
Right,
they will probably better understand your needs and your situation.
Right, exactly. So once you guys finish your quiz for tomorrow, and then you get placed on teams, a couple of more things that you need to understand, okay? It's not easy. It's not going to be easy. And it's not even the content that's going to be challenging. It's going to be how you interact with people from different cultures who don't speak the language, your native language. The key is don't stress. Don't take it personal, and don't allow the stress to impact the way that you do your work, okay? It is a team-based activity, so making sure that the collaboration is being managed well, and you are being respectful and courteous as they are being respectful and courteous to you, that you have to pay attention to that. And remember that this is a journey. The idea of this entire activity is the journey. And it's not making sure that you have a perfect project, or it's not just, doing all the social activities. It's a combination and a balance of everything. And the ultimate goal, beyond the fact that we're trying to teach you how to do a business plan, is really to have cultural empathy, to learn what it's like to be a person from another culture doing work that you're doing in a global business through a virtual platform, right? It's not supposed to be easy. We make it difficult on purpose, right? Because if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. This is why you are doing this with us, is because we're giving you an opportunity to rise to the occasion. And once you get to that level, your confidence level will be stronger. You know yourself, your capacity to work within the confines of all of the things that's happening right now. So don't think that this is just going to be, a skate. Be mindful of others, be respectful of others, but also make sure that you're providing excellent work so that everybody else rises to your level. Yeah, Dr. Voss, you had something else? You're muted, Dr. Voss.
Yes, exactly what you said. X-Culture is a training program. It is not a competition in a traditional sense. There are many so-called case competitions for business students where everything is about the document you submit in the end. And so there it's all about the final product. X-Culture is a journey, as Dr. B said. So it's about getting to the document. I mean, yes, it is also a competition. We will select the winners. The authors of the best ideas will get special rewards. But the journey, the way getting there is much more important. And so the ultimate goal here is to prepare you for work with people from different countries. Because once you graduate, once you are either in a university or in a job, you will have to work with people from different countries and more online, especially now because again of this COVID whole thing. So probably there will be even more virtual teams or global virtual collaboration. And so there are all kinds of challenges that happen when people from different countries come together, especially when they have to communicate online as we're communicating now. And so the goal of X-Culture is to give you an opportunity to experience those challenges now and to learn how to deal with them. How do you schedule a meeting? How do you communicate? How do you deal with the cultural differences? How do you deal with the time zone differences? So all of that is much more important than what will be on that final document. Again, we still want you to write as good a document as possible, but this is one of those cases where, you know, getting to the destination is more important and more interesting than the destination itself.
Yeah.
And so this way, when you will be applying for jobs, for example, you can say that I have completed a project with people from 7 different countries. We worked together for a semester. And yes, here is what we produced, and here is my certificate. By the way, that's from the last year. I have, just as an example, that's a winning team number 5, actually. So that's one of the teams. But anyway, you will have all of that kind of post-project stuff, but your employer will be much more interested in the process. They will say, oh, really? You work with people from several different countries? Tell me more. So what kind of challenges did you experience? How did you deal with that? Was it a problem to deal with cultural differences? Okay, tell me how you did it. So it is more about how rather than, you know, what happens in the end.
Right.
And
And
so,
it's a skill building process.
Yeah.
Okay. And trust me, I'm one of those people that I like to read books twice. I like to read documentaries twice, because the first time that I go do something, it's kind of like just getting familiar with the landscape of what I'm doing. So I have a question here from Anonymous. Can we
Yeah.
apply for next semester if we are already signed up for this semester? Absolutely.
I wonder if that one refers to the coaching program, because the question came when we were talking about coaching, and I wonder if they asked if we can apply for the next semester to the coaching program.
So we'll answer
Or ask
both.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you are an Academy student right now, and you would like to do Academy once again, absolutely.
Yep.
In fact, the more you do it, I have a student right now who's not even taking a class. Actually, I have 2 students right now who's not even taking my international business class, who came to me and said, Dr. B, I know you're playing X-Culture again. Can I sign up as a part of your cohort? They already did it once with me last year. And they came to me and asked, can we do it again? Because I want that experience again. And the second time, they're having the best time. The first time when I had to grade them, because 50% of their grade actually came from X-Culture, they had the worst time. It was such a challenge. And now they're doing it no grade. They're working harder this time that they were doing it last time. And I'm like, you know, now it's no longer about the grade. All of a sudden, it's about the experience. So if you want to do this again and again and again, absolutely. The experience just gets better and better. If you're asking about, can I be a coach if I do well this semester? Absolutely. So Dr. Taras, can you tell them a little bit about how that process works?
For the coaches, again, it's by invitation only. And usually, again, we invite probably about top 25% of the students. Again, not everyone who is invited is able to participate. So some people may have jobs or may have, busy school. So not everyone we invite participates, but we usually get about 400, 500 applications. And then as long as you were invited to apply and you did apply, in most of the cases, we do invite you into the program. But with the coaching program, then what happens next is, again, the training phase. So just like you now had to go through 4 weeks of training, the same thing with the coaches. And so they have to take much, much more intensive training. They do, training on how to provide feedback, how to resolve conflicts, how to do team counseling, how to do academic writing, how to organize webinars, how to organize counseling sessions. So it's much, much more kind of management slash, coaching related. And as you had 4 tests, so they do have 4 tests. And usually then we look at the results of those tests and we try to keep it at about 50 coaches total. So again, there will be about close to 1,000 or so people who will be invited. Of those, about 400 submit the applications, but from those, about 50 people will be selected. And usually those will be the ones with the highest test scores. Mm-hmm. And then once they are in the program, they will be, again, organizing webinars, providing feedback, helping teams deal with the conflicts, answering all kinds of questions, as well as organizing all kinds of fun events. Like, for example, this semester they did the virtual picnic. We did this orientation session. They participated heavily in preparation. So they're preparing the feedback on the last semester submissions as a whole different block of work. So plus they have their own weekly meetings where they kind of gather in a round table, virtual round table, share experiences, types of challenges they experienced last week, cases they have to deal with. In some cases, I attended some of those, they do like, I have this difficult case. There is a conflict in team 777. And so what do I do here? I mean, this is the situation. And then they discuss and try to decide together what's the best course of action. Yeah. So kind of really fun stuff. And then
that one, that one is managed by another one of a colleague, Professor Karen Linden, who is wonderful. We should
invite them sometime to get more,
Yeah. We'll do that. We'll do that for Academy students towards the end, so she can explain to you guys what we're looking for if you're really thinking about applying for the coaching program. But it's yet one more activity that you have the opportunity to do once you do exceptionally well. Also, don't forget that once COVID is over and we can start traveling again, that we're going to be running Global Business Week. And I think in 2021, we're still kind of like on the fence about, we don't know that, COVID is going to be behind us enough to where travel is going to be safe. But definitely in 2022, we're anticipating 2 on-ground Global Business Week. One probably in the United States. We haven't selected exactly, but we're looking at either Miami or Washington, D.C. for the United States. And then we're also looking at one other Global Business Week, which is going to be outside of the United States, potentially back to Asia, because we lost the opportunity to go to Singapore. So we might go back to Asia or Europe, or now we're saying everywhere, right? So we're looking at a couple of places in the Caribbean and also in South America. So, there are a lot of benefits.
The Middle East, again, I like Dubai, for example. So it's a wonderful location,
We have to talk to our partner in Abu Dhabi to see and now that the Middle East and Jerusalem have a little bit of a détente and they're collaborating, so we're very open to going to the Middle East.
Let's ask, we have quite a few students here, so if you guys could choose the location for the next Culture Symposium, what city would you like it to take place? Like, where would you like it to be? So I don't know, maybe.
Country?
We have Nepal. Nepal would be an interesting destination. The only problem is it easy to get to Nepal? Switzerland.
It's hard. No, we can't go to Nepal.
Yeah, Switzerland is also not a very good idea. We do have quite a few universities in Switzerland, but it's very expensive.
And we're trying to make it affordable for everyone.
Yeah, we always try to go with kind of cheaper locations, because Switzerland, that's like easily extra $500, $600, $700 per person, because the food is expensive, the housing is expensive.
Travel.
Australia is a great idea. I like it. The only problem, again, it's so far away from everywhere. And so the problem is that for many students, it will be an extra $500, $600, $700 in the air tickets. So it's a great place to go, no problem. But the vast majority will have to fly a very long distance, and instead of paying $500-600 for the air ticket, it will be like 1,500-1,700, if not 2,000.
Yeah.
Dubai is, we were thinking about that. So that's an interesting place.
Yeah.
So it's relatively easy, not expensive,
Yeah.
exotic, yet modern. So interesting.
Yeah.
Before we go with the coaches, can I answer a couple more quick questions?
Sure.
There
Just
was
real
one,
quick.
when we will receive the email with our team members, October the 5th. Can we still sign up for this, for all social activities, or still sign up for social activities?
We're going to talk about that now.
Okay, and then I was told I got 71 on the exam, but never received a retake link. I'll need to look at the records, but if you got really high grades on the other two exams, and on one it was kind of not quite 80, but below it, maybe we decided not, for you not to retake it. So I'll need to take a look at the records. Normally, if you're below 80, you would get a retake test. So I'll take a look, and there is no name, so I will not be able to check. But we will be going through those records on Monday. So if anything's missing, we will let you know. No worries.
Yeah. And with the symposium, again, I'm the chair for the Global Symposium, and we invite the top. I always cringe when I make this announcement, but we usually invite the top 10%.
Yeah.
Okay. So you need to place in the top 10%.
And somebody asked, is it just the last year? No, we go actually a few semesters
3 years back.
So not everyone is able to participate right next semester. So we go sometime back. But the important thing again is when we say top 10, it doesn't mean that your report was top 10. We also look at your peer evaluation. So we want you to do well. We look at your timeliness, diligence, performance. So everything taken into account. And most of those indicators are not the quality of the report, but how hard you tried. So for us, it's much more important how well and how hard you tried, as opposed to the actual ranking of your team. So no worries, it's under your control most.
So we're actually, because we have a 3-year look back now, we have 2019 that we need to look at, right? Fall 2019. We need to look at all of 2020 students. And then if we don't run 2021, we also have to run 2021 students. And we have 3 years that we have to evaluate, like all of those students who did very well. So it's going to be 2022 is going to be a crazy year of 2 global symposiums, just because we had so many students who didn't get the opportunity. And also because we have students like populated or stratified all over the world, it's going to be a good opportunity for us to see if we can do like a Western and Eastern hemisphere, or a Northern or Southern, or on ground the United States, and then on ground in one other continent. So we'll look at that compilation and decide which countries, which universities. I know people were saying Paris. Again, cost effectiveness is one thing that we have to take into consideration, because you guys have to pay for this. I mean, it could be in the upwards of $1,500 for the week, but that includes your housing, your food, and all of your activities, right? And then also, in addition to that, you still have to pay for travel. So if that is something that you would want to do in the future, start saving your money and start preparing for that, because every year we will have some wonderful exotic location. And for example, when we went to the University of Calgary last year in Canada, or was it last year, 2 years? No, last year, 2019. Yeah, the students actually went to Canada, did Global Business Week. We scheduled it to be right after
Stampede.
the rodeo, Stampede. And then, so they went to Stampede, went to the Global Business Week, and a lot of them spent another week hiking and camping around the Banff National Park, where you guys see Big 3 or ski Big 3. And that was a great experience for them. So they got to do multiple things. So don't look at this as just going for a Global Business Week. It's an actual opportunity for you to travel, put in your vacation. If you're a professional, you don't have to put in for your vacation. If you're a teenager, we had a student from Academy. She was a teenager. Her parents, her entire family came, dropped her off.
With the family,
did the Global Business Week, joined us for the gala, and then they went on vacation. So this is a great opportunity for your families to do stuff.
One more note, a quick note on money. So the default option is the participants have to pay for themselves, but the truth is that almost all of them do get some form of stipends, some from us, some from their employers, some from their universities, some from other sponsors, and we help in that a lot. So in the end, while we cannot promise anything and we kind of always go by be prepared to pay for yourself, the truth is that we will find ways to help you get some sponsorship from other sources. So maybe not all the entire amount, maybe not all, but in the end, most of the students actually do get something from some different sources, and we help with that a lot.
Yeah, if you work for an organization, a lot of organization sponsors their employees. If you're a student, your community, your university, I mean, there are lots of opportunities. So just think about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got to give the time now to the Academy coaches. All of these other Leilanis, if you guys could all please go live, because we want to introduce you to some of the activities that you're going to be doing in the next few weeks. So we have Jaren, we have Ania. Where are the other two Leilanis? They're still muted and not available, so we'll wait for them.
But I think they can actually click and rename their name. Like for example, Jaren, I think like this. So now we have Jaren. And
yeah,
so
Ania.
I think you can choose. You can click on your avatar
yourself.
and rename yourself.
Yeah. So, oh, and there is Annette. Annette, you can rename yourself. And I'm going to assume that the other Leilani is Raphael. So, we're going to answer this last question, Dr. Voss. Will the training material be available during the practical phase?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so that's done. Okay, so welcome to our wonderful Academy coaches. This is only a few of about 20 coaches that are coming on. So I knew it was Raphael. So Raphael is our Team Leilani Rocks. We do rock. Raphael is our lead coach. It's ambassadors for the Global Business Week and coaches for Academy. So Raphael, if you could come on and first introduce yourself.
I'm the one who put the name Raphael, assuming that's Raphael, but maybe it's someone else. So I'm not entirely
sure. Okay. So he might not even be here. Okay. So
wait a second. I may have not, because now I think we need to promote them to the, so maybe we didn't.
Yeah. So you might have to promote them. So Ania is, tell them a little bit about yourself very quickly, Ania.
Hi, I'm Ania. I'm 14 and I'm from the Philippines. So about myself, I like art in general and sports.
Thank you. Just very quickly, Jaren.
Hi, I'm Jaren. I'm 17 and I'm from Malaysia. A bit about myself, I'm a certified first aider in with St. John Ambulance of Malaysia.
Wow.
Thank you. Annette? Annette? You're muted, Annette.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi everyone. I'm Annette from Nairobi, Kenya. A senior coach with X-Culture. A bit about myself. I hold 2 masters, both MBAs, one in finance. So if you have any financial issues, please don't hesitate to reach out. And another in strategic management. So I like a bit of both. And we are here to make sure that you get a really, really good experience. Welcome.
Yeah, so these are just 3 of the amazing like when I tell you amazing, they're like amazing, okay? Not because I am biased, which I am, but because I have had the privilege of really getting to know them, and they are pretty amazing. If you are just now coming on, you're muted, and you are, I'm gonna say that that's Patricia, so maybe you can unmute yourself and put yourself on video. So I wanted to ask Ania, Annette, and Jaren to tell you guys about the social activities that we have planned, right? So the very first thing is, Ania, we have one thing going on coming soon. So can you tell us about it?
So we have the virtual cooking class, and we have some applicants here, which me and Layon have reviewed already. And we have already picked one set for next week, I think. And we can't wait.
What country? What country?
He is from India.
He's from India. Oh, cool. And what is he going to teach us how to cook?
I don't know how to read it, but I'll try. Chatopteri.
Okay, so the idea is that we're going to get a list of ingredients and we're going to try to cook with him, right?
I can't
Yes.
wait. Yeah, I want to try that.
Yes, that's awesome. Okay, so, and Annette, tell us about what you're going to be doing or what you guys are going to be doing for our social activities. So Annette, we have no
Hello.
audio again. Okay, there you go.
Hello. Am I there?
Yes.
All right. So we are going to hold a virtual tour where you guys are going to have a chance to showcase your amazing talent of being tour hosts. You are going to show us how beautiful your countries are. You're going to have to choose one place that you really like or that you're proud of. You're going to take us through. You will have about 30 to 45 minutes of showing us the beauty of your place. We sent out a link for people to subscribe. We already have 45 subscribers. We have selected 4 really, really nice videos. And on the 3rd of October, if you would like to come and join us, we will have a tour of Nepal.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. We're going to go through Nepal in October. And by the way, Ania, your guy, the one that's cooking for us next weekend, he said that you pronounced it very well. So congratulations. Yay. Okay, Jaron, tell us what you're doing.
So I'm in charge of the Facebook closed groups, and we will be having 2 different ones, which is the Academy Professionals and the Academy Kids. There we will be posting a thing like Dollar Street, and it's an engagement activity. So we will like you to post according to what we will be posting. So example, if we post about maybe we will put the post like post a picture of your front door. So in the comment section, you can post your pictures, and we would like to see everyone's front door or different things throughout the semester.
Yeah, we did, when we were testing it, Jaron asked us to post a picture of our flags and what it represented. And I learned a lot, actually. Like, you know, like in the United States, we have 13 lines, and each line represents the 13 original colonies. And inside the blue, there are 50 stars, and those stars represent the countries. And then the colors, you know, what they represent. So like that was really interesting. It was a way of engaging and interacting with our new friends, right? But that the lessons behind it was really interesting. And by the way, Jaron was really good about posting guidelines and rules in each of these. And we did separate teens versus professionals. So professionals have their own webpage or closed Facebook page, and then teens have their own closed Facebook page. The nice thing about this, for those of you guys who are professionals, you can actually start to network with each other. So it's a great opportunity to really get to know other people from other countries.
Yeah, in addition to your team, yeah.
Okay, so I have another person here who is one of your coaches. So Patricia, could you unmute yourself and introduce yourself?
Yes,
And
hello.
please.
Yes. My name is Patricia. I'm 17 years old from the Republic of Moldova. This is my second time as a coach, and I'm excited to get to know everyone and help you throughout this experience, and hope you will enjoy it as much as I did when I was an academy student.
Very good. And Anit, if you could unmute yourself and show us your video. So Anit's been a little bit MIA for a while because she's been taking exams. How were your exams?
They were pretty good, but I haven't got the results yet.
Okay, good. And this is exams for the university?
Yeah, university entrances.
Oh my gosh, congratulations. Very nerve-wracking, but you're gonna do great. Okay, so introduce yourself.
I'm Anit Kaur Thapa. I'm from India. I've just completed my schooling, and right now I'm waiting to get into a university. And it's been lovely with X Culture. Thank you.
Have you already submitted your university applications?
Sorry.
Have you submitted your applications already to the universities or not yet?
Instead, it's all entrance based here.
And you're aiming at universities in India or globally, worldwide?
Right now, I'm aiming at India.
Because we get a lot of inquiries about university applications in the United States and Canada, but also Europe, some other countries. And so
Right.
probably starting next year with Dr. B, we will probably launch a new program specifically designed for the older teenagers to get into good schools and get
Yeah.
scholarships.
Yeah, globally.
Still
Yeah,
on the
and-
internet, but it should be available. So if any of you are aiming Harvard, Stanford, North Carolina, so hopefully we will be able to.
Okay, so and Dr. Voss, I just want to let you know that one of the other things that I'm really excited about is, and most Americans don't do this because they just don't know, right? That it's actually cheaper to get your MBA outside of the United States and Canada. Like, go to Europe, live in Europe for 2 years, get your MBA because it's cheaper. You can almost borrow the money to live in Europe for 2 years, not work, and actually have less of a college student loan to get your MBA in Europe.
Or get a stipend. We
Or
had,
get a stipend,
we
or
actually
work
had
virtually.
we had several Excalibur students who came to my school. So we had Jan Striven, so he got his
Yeah.
MBA at my university and got full scholarship, and now got a very good job in Chicago. So he moved to Chicago a few months ago when he graduated.
Yeah,
Before that,
Yeah.
it was Simone Di Loca. Again, he was with us, the undergraduate, and then for MBA, again, got full scholarship. So his Excalibur experience helped a lot. And so I don't know, maybe some of you will come either to my university or Dr. B's university, or maybe some other
or
American.
some other, and we have a great network of professors all over the world. So that's something that we're super excited about. It's going to be running like a class. So we would be teaching you guys like a class how to create that program.
There is
So
a question about your military jargon. You said MIA. What does it mean? Somebody's asking. You said,
Oh, am I missing in action? I'm sorry. I was a soldier in the United States Army, so I have. It's very difficult. 2 things I learned in the military. Okay, how to cuss. So forgive me. I think my coaches know that I cuss. How to cuss, and then how to use my military jargon. It doesn't ever leave. So I think this question is for you. Which exams did you take? Was it the JEE or the NEET?
No, I did not take those exams. Basically, that is for science students, and I'm from
Ah.
commerce.
Okay. So that's your answer.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other question, Nihal wants to know, can you please send the email address to send applications to the program?
yes, I have it here. So all you do is you go to exculture.org and then just click on Academy. Let's say, for example, you're a professional or teen, doesn't matter. So you click here and you will have the, all the information, but you also have apply here. And then you just go ahead with the application. Everything is here. So exculture.org is all you need. And then from there, you can always find, where to apply and what to do. So everything is on the page.
Okay. And remember, you guys, that in order for you to qualify to be a coach, you have to first complete the virtual program. And then once the virtual program is in play, we watch your performance. And once you surface among the top 10%, we send you an invitation to participate in either the coaching program or to join us for one of our global business weeks, wherever we go all over the world. So super exciting. I am.
Very important thing about coaching also, since Dr. B is responsible for the symposium, and usually you had, I believe, 20 ambassadors in Canada, right? So people who are basically, we call them student ambassadors, but they are essentially the administrative team for the event. So they are the people who help with all the preparation before the event, but then everything during the event. Sending you to the right room for the session, making sure everybody gets on the bus for the field trip. And so Dr. B always selects ambassadors from the coaching program. And so ambassadors, they don't have to pay, but they actually often get some little compensation for the work they do. And they have to come there. I think in Canada, they had to be there like 2 weeks early or 1 week early.
No. 4 days
was it?
early.
Or-
Yeah, we
but-
do a lot of
But
we
they have,
do a lot of training before virtually, and then they fly 4 days, which you have to get into the coaching program before you can apply to become an ambassador. So
Yeah.
these guys can apply to be an ambassador. So you let the cat out of the bag. Now I'm going to have to explain to them what we are talking about, Dr. Taraz. So I'll talk to you guys about that in our meeting. And yeah, and for those of you guys, there's one last question, and then we all have to leave because we have another meeting. The other question is, how do we apply to join with the cooking, the tour, and the Pen Pal program? So you should have already applied to be in the Pen Pal program. We are just waiting for all of you guys to register because, of course, if you're not registered as a part of our cohort, continuing on with virtual, then you can't participate, right? So, but for the cooking and for the tours, basically an advertisement will come out. Dr. Voss will send it just like it's actually at this time. It's exactly at this time. What we're doing now, it's just instead of us giving you guys, talks and answering questions, you guys are going to be going through either a cooking show or a virtual tour. Okay? So my coaches and I have to go. I don't know if Dr. Voss needs to go too.
No, I
Dr.
think-
Voss, you can join us later if you want.
Yeah, so let me see if there are any other questions, but I think we've covered everything. So I'll probably be leaving it as well. One question was, how does it work with the coaching and other programs? So you kind of can go through a progression here. So you start as a student, and some actually go even multiple times through the program as students. Then the best students are invited to the X-Culture Symposium. And again, many of them participate in that. And we've had some people who attended 3-4 symposia in a row. So they liked it so much. Then you can also apply to become a coach. And again, it's by invitation, but many become coaches after they complete the project as members of the teams. So as a member of the team, you learn how to work with people from other cultures. But then as a coach, you learn how to manage teams that are comprised of people from different cultures. Then many coaches participate in the coaching program multiple times. And so over time, they can apply and become what we call head coach. So basically coach of a coach. So again, somebody needs to coach coaches and, provide feedback on their work or feedback on their feedback and, attend their webinars. So we have usually about 50, 60 people in the coaching program, of whom about 5 would be the kind of coaches of coaches. And then we actually have some people who then, many get jobs elsewhere, but then also some get jobs with us. So we have several people who are working for X-Culture as basically paid employees, I guess you would call it. So we have a few people, one person who does marketing for us out of Ukraine. We have another person who is the executive administrator or assistant for the program. And then we have several people who work part-time. So we have 2 people who help, for example, with the coaching program, and they do get some compensation for that. We also just hired a few people. So with the Academy of International Business, they are organizing an annual conference. And so this year, the conference was supposed to be in Panama City in Florida in the United States. But because of COVID, it has to be online. And so we always do it together, the Academy of International Business and X-Culture. And so a couple of our professors are on the advisory board of the Academy. And so they decided to do it online. And so they need some help with, organizing, setting up all of those Zoom meetings and, technology support and, all kinds of administrative work that needs to be done to organize a big international conference. And this conference, again, it's primarily for professors. So usually there would be about 400 professors from like 30, 40 countries attending the conference that happens in the fall, organized by the Academy of International Business. But anyway, they reached out to us to see if we can recommend any people who can help with managing this conference online. The reason being because it is online, nobody has done it before online, and X-Culture has been doing online for a long time. And so we hired a couple of, I believe 4 people from the coaching program who will be paid, and so who will be preparing this conference. And then late October, that's when the conference happens. they will be there all the time, making sure that the sessions are working, that the professors are know where they need to go for the next presentation or meeting session, or whatever it is. So there will be even some opportunities for people then to sort of get some sort of jobs with us. Again, usually we don't advertise ourselves as an employer, even though we do have some employees. But again, occasionally we do need help, and when needed, obviously we'll reach out to our own students and coaches and see who might be interested to get that position. And then again, many go to graduate school and some become professors. We actually have several professors now who are now professors, but who started with us as students. And so they stayed, we've been in business essentially, or have been doing it for 11 years now, almost 11 years. And so we do have some participants who started as a student and then went into graduate school and got a PhD degree. And all this time they've been in, with XCulture, in XCulture. So doing research with us, organizing the events, and eventually becoming professors. And now they are our colleagues. So they were students and now they are colleagues. So maybe some of you will become, I don't know, academics in the future, and maybe you will be our, either colleague professors or maybe business partners. So we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to stop here. Let me see if there are any questions that I didn't answer. It hasn't been said enough. Thank you for the people Michaela is saying basically, thank you so much, Michaela. Yes, it is a lot of work, and it is, largely work that we do sort of out of love for what we do, and not because of money. As I said, we're not set up to be, a cash machine. All these professors, they just love education, and they would like to do a little bit more than just go to the classroom, teach a lecture, and go home. And so, yes, it does take a lot of time and effort, and I truly appreciate that you sort of recognize that and appreciate the effort. So let's see how things go. And as I said, we do have a few new plans for new programs for the next year. Again, I keep getting questions, if I wanted to apply to an American school, get a stipend, how do I do it? As I said, so many of those questions that it's becoming too time consuming to counsel students one-on-one. So what we're probably going to do in the spring, starting in the spring, is launch a kind of cohort-based program where former XCulture students can enroll, and we will kind of walk you through the application process from, selecting your university, from looking for potential, stipend sources, all the way to preparing your recommendation letters, your statement of purpose or whatever essay, application essay, applying and doing the SAT or GMAT or GRE test, depending on which level you are applying, and then all the way through until you actually get into the school. Again, even though we do have hundreds of professors around the world, and a good half of them in the United States, in most cases we cannot, how should I say, I cannot, for example, guarantee that you will be admitted to my school. It's not something that I can just basically, call someone and say, we need to admit John Smith. No, I cannot do that. There is always a selection committee, and they always evaluate each applicant. But I can give, for example, a recommendation letter, and hopefully that will be taken into account. Or we can advise you on, what the university normally is looking for. So what you need to emphasize in your application so that they know that you're a good student. And hopefully that will help you. So we'll see how those things go. But if you're thinking about continuing your education, we may be able to help with that as well. So again, that's just an idea at this time. We need to figure out how exactly it will be structured, but maybe we'll do that in the coming year. So anyway, thank you so much. And let's stop here. And then I'll share the recording for those who could not attend live. Bye, guys.